Well, it seems like we played like 2 hours ago, didn't it? I've been waiting for a long time in the holding pen. Anyway, proud of our guys of how we, found a way. I'm not going to claim it's our most intelligent display of basketball at times, but we were able to do enough good things at the right times, specifically make free throws when we needed to, and do just enough to stem off any tide they were going to try to make. But, proud of our guys. I thought Brevan Pritzel off the bench was really solid, did some really good things, didn't try to get outside his lane, so to speak. But just overall team effort, and it was really good in terms of how they kept picking each other up. When something wouldn't go right, they were encouraging and tried to get things back on track. And like I said, some contributions off the bench again today is obviously with Happ and Hayes' numbers. They carried a lot of the scoring load, but to be able to continue to get people's best shot and people coming after us, that was found another way to win yet again. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Coach, Brevan Pritzel played 12 minutes tonight. What have you seen in practice that led to quality minutes down the stretch?
Well, I think just over the last 6 to 8 weeks, he started to get more of his swagger back. And by that I mean the appreciation for things other than just shooting, diving on the floor, taking charges, rebounding, taking care of the ball, all those things that he was good at before he got hurt over a year ago. And it's really taken him a long time to get back into that rhythm. And I think for him mentally, I think he was probably caught into the trap of that shooting is going to get me back faster than anything else, and really it had to be all those other things first. And we know he can score. We know he shoots it really well. But he had to be doing those other things too. And that's what we've seen over the last, margin of time, whatever, 6, 8, I don't know exactly how long. I'm giving you a guesstimate there. But he just kept getting more and more consistent. And I brought him over with us different times during practice, and I thought he's handled it pretty well. And today I just kept liking what I was seeing. I mean, he just, like I said before, he stayed in his lane. He didn't try to do too much. He didn't try to make up for lost time. He just was a solid contributor, guarded very well for a guy that hasn't had a whole lot of live game defensive experience in those type of situations. Thought he did some really good things, and just somebody that shows that we can count on him.
Jeff.
Greg, can you expand a little bit on you said you wouldn't classify this as the most intelligent display. Are you talking about some of the turnovers, the passes? You're talking about shot selection or guys maybe forcing some things offensively?
No, it was, turnovers, but I thought we made some defensive decisions that were way out of character too. We gave up shots at times where we tried to gamble on passes. We got out of position, which forced defensive rotations, and we had to help when we shouldn't have been in a position to have to help. And they did a good job of finding who we had to leave or where we had to come off to stop the ball. And at times when we didn't have to do it. There's a point in time when you take a calculated risk, but the times that we did it, I think we made the wisest decision. And even at the end there to pull the ball out when we're not clean for a layup with Vito. We were in a situation a few years ago at Michigan State where we tried to do the same thing, and we have it not turn our way, and they capitalize and we lose the game. So they're just things that we have to make more mature intellectual decisions at times, and it wasn't always with the basketball. There were obviously some turnovers that we need to be better at, but I thought we did some things defensively that really put us at a disadvantage and put other teammates at risk in terms of what they had to cover up for the mistakes that were made, and something we've got to make sure that can't happen.
In the back.
Coach, straight in the back, Happ, the 2 plays at the end, he had the steal and the dunk, and then held the ball, called the timeout. Kind of maybe looking at those 2 plays as an example, but also generally speaking, how have you seen him grow and mature? Because were those plays that he would have made, for instance, last year? Well,
I think the thing you've seen with Ethan is that he's more consistent, and he plays at a higher level of consistency because he's more confident. How is he more confident? Because he's got a year of experience, and he's taken advantage of what he got last year, compounded it with what he's learning this year, and has become a more consistent player. I don't see the ups and downs with him emotionally. I don't see the fluctuations in his production and what he's trying to do. I don't see him disappearing at maybe times when he did last year. He would kind of float up and down, and normally what a freshman goes through that's in those type of situations. I think he's just used his experience and his opportunities that he's had and tried to grow from them. So, it's a credit to him to taking advantage of his experience and doing a good job with that.
Over here on the left.
Speaking of Pritzel getting in that rhythm, Vito's been a bit out of rhythm from three. How do you think Vito can get back into his rhythm from last year?
Just do the other things that don't involve shooting the ball, and that's what we always talk about. The shooting and the shots will come. Defend, rebound, take care of the ball, run the floor in transition, be a good teammate, find the open player. All the other intangible things that I talked about that help Brevan Pritzel, those same type of things can help anybody that's ever struggling offensively. Anytime a player gets consumed with offense first, it's usually when they get themselves in a hole and have their mind maybe focused on the wrong things. It's the other things that we need to focus on, the intangibles of how you can help the team in other ways, maybe when the ball doesn't go in for you.
Jim.
Greg, I don't know how much free time you had yesterday, but it was a pretty crazy day in college basketball. 6 top 10 teams go down. Big 10 home teams went 0-4. And I know you're a little bit of a perfectionist and you find things to pick apart even in wins, but do you appreciate at least that your guys are doing enough to find a way to win even when they're not playing necessarily their best?
Well, I think good teams do that. They find a way. It's hard to be able to hit on all cylinders for 30-some games. You obviously are building towards a crescendo. You hope the crescendo doesn't happen for a while yet, and to be able to maintain it and hit on all cylinders, like I said before, consistently is hard. You're going to go through some ups and downs. You're going to go through nights when the ball doesn't go in. We've been able to find other ways, whether it's been defensively, on the defensive glass, some things that we've calloused and toughened a little bit and haven't become reliant. Not that I don't want to score, not that I don't want guys to shoot the ball well, but they have to also understand that there's other ways that when it doesn't go your way, we can still find a way. And tonight I thought getting to the free throw line was kind of a counter to us not maybe shooting the three well, or as well as we're capable of. And that's what good, experienced teams will find some other way to scratch and claw and get it done.
In the back on the left.
Hey, Coach. Defensively, were you satisfied with holding a guy like Thomas Bryant to 11 points, 6 rebounds?
Yeah, I thought we did a pretty good job. I thought Ethan individually, for the most part, made it hard for him to get into comfort zones and was pretty physical with him. I thought we did a good job when we did send a double team. We did trap it. We did a pretty good job with that, and we rotated in behind it. So I think for the most part, he's a really good player. I think he's improved a lot. Speaking of Bryant, but I think there were some other areas where we have to get better at. Obviously we got to do a better job than what we did on Newkirk, and I'll always find other area. We'll find some things even with Bryant where we made some mistakes. Obviously he was pretty efficient, going 5 for 7, but I thought we didn't let him get in a rhythm. We didn't let him get too comfortable. And obviously Charlie, I thought, did a good job on him as well when he played him, Vito, for the most part. But it was a group effort. We did a good job, decent job of pressuring the ball to make the entry passes a little harder. And then when we did trap, I thought we did a pretty decent job of trapping and getting it out of his hands.
Tom.
Greg, you've touched on this a little bit, but this is another game in a little stretch here, a short stretch where you've been pretty inconsistent on offense. What do you have to do to get this offense back to where you want to be, or to get it to where you wanted it to be all season?
Well, I think the one thing, you always evaluate the type of shots you get. And as long as we're touching the post, playing through the post, not necessarily meaning we have to shoot it from there, but understanding what's made us good and where our strengths are, continue to play through those. I understand there's going to be nights that the ball doesn't go in, but I evaluate more on the type of shot we get. Is it something that's closely guarded? Is it something where we could have made one more pass to a more open person? Did we not touch the post enough? Today I thought we made a pretty conscious effort for the most part of touching the post and playing through it, through the paint. And we've got guys in there that are unselfish, that are good passers. So it will level itself out. I don't get too wound up in terms of droughts as long as the type of shots are good and we're approaching the offensive possession the right way. obviously turning the ball over is not approaching the offensive possession in the right way. Tough contested shots or not. I thought for the most part we did a decent job. I thought there was a couple in the first half specifically where we didn't change sides of the floor, we didn't touch the post, or we got dribble happy at times, and ended up taking tougher jump shots than necessary. But it's something they understand. They continue to grow with what makes us good, and that's the one thing we've continued to talk about and learn from is, we'll get the ball to go in. We work on it enough that we got good enough guys are good enough shooters, but let's make sure we're doing ourselves a favor by approaching each possession the right way.
Got one more here in front.
Coach, Zach finished with only 5 points, and he had 3 rebounds, but he seemed to be diving all over the floor tonight and even took a charge. Was tonight kind of a classic Zach Showalter performance and the kind of effort and toughness he brought?
Yeah, he typically gets, it's more of the perimeter scores. He gets that assignment. I thought he did. There was a couple mistakes he made defensively, but for the most part, he was pretty solid. And obviously, you're going to get the hustle and the intangible things with Zach. I mean, that's what got him here in the first place, and that's what he's added to this program, and that's what we need. I mean, that's the value that he can give to us that maybe always doesn't show up in how many points he scores, but the things he does are really important to us.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.